So, what do I actually do? It's a bit of a funny question because as a full-time property investor, I get asked it a lot. I've had friends, I've had family ask, what do I actually do on a day-to-day basis? What do I spend my time doing? Because on socials, you can see the viewings, you can see certain elements of what we do, or what I do myself. But in terms of what we're doing and why we're doing it, which is even more important, I'll give you a breakdown in this video. It'll give a bit of information on that, a bit of basis, and it'll help you guys understand why we do what we do and what the intention is and why the end goal is really to help people in the long term. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a long video on that, but strap in. So one of our main ways to think about things in our sourcing company is to start with the end in mind. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So to give a bit of context, because it'll outline everything. So in my sort of mentality, if you start with the end goal in mind, you can work backwards. So if I explain what the goal of all this is for me, you'll understand why we're doing what we're doing now to fulfill that. So where I want to be in the next 5 years, my personal goal, my personal plans, I want to build a substantial portfolio, a lot of buy-to-lets and low risk buy-to-let social housing deals, properties, but in reality, it's a lot of HMOs as well, the high cash flow properties as well, where you can have bigger numbers on it. It's high risk but high reward. So I want to build that sort of portfolio. But in parallel to that, I also want to have a accumulated and scaled, not accumulated, but a scaled sourcing business, just purely within South Wales. We like to be very niche in what we do. It's something that I've learned over the past probably 24 months to be really, really niched in what you do, location wise and service wise, really helps us provide a good service and also helps our clients understand what it is we even do. So yeah, to have a scaled business, to grow that very, very bespoke, which I'll get into anyway, but to have that in parallel. So at the end of the day, my 10-year goal, rough 10-year goal, is to just be able to have all that leverage and then be able to live life freely. But I also get bored very easily, so that's not going to happen. So I kind of lied to myself. But that's the 10-year plan. That's the 5-year plan leading into the 10-year plan. So 5-year plan is scale the sourcing business, even though I hate the word sourcing because it's a property investment company more than anything, because sourcing is just finding. So, but then have that alongside the leverage portfolio and then grow those in conjunction. And one thing you'll notice on this video is the one feeds the other, and this is the main reason why we're doing what we're doing now. So let's get into it. So company number one that I have at the moment is the property investment company for clients. So some people call it sourcing, some people call it, you know, whatever you need to do, but in reality, it's a property investment company that sourcing is part of the chain included. So obviously sourcing is finding, so therefore it's part of finding and then delivering a full service. So for a bit of context, that service is based upon people approaching us who want to build a 5 to 10 year investment journey and actually build their long-term wealth, and not just find them a property, not just find them said deal, because every single investor that I work with, talk to, and connect with, I want to work with them for the next 5 to 10 years minimum. You know, like things can happen, circumstances can change, but in reality, that's the real goal, to have a long-term relationship with every single person, because it builds trust, credibility, and actually shows that you're doing a good job because you're actually doing what you're saying you're doing over those 5 years. And I love that. You know, it's fair to go on holiday in 10 years' time with the same client you had 10 years ago. That to me, that picture is so good. It shows that you've done what you're actually going to say, and it shows that your service is actually credible in what you're doing. So that's my thinking. So anyway, so we build a 5-year, 10-year plan with every single client. It's not a set rule, but it's a guideline that we build with them, and it really outlines where we want to get them in the next, obviously 5 years, for example. We make it realistic. We don't look to overachieve with it, but we make it realistic, and then we do the work for them. You know, if they want to build an entire buy-to-let portfolio in South Wales, that's our bread and butter. That's what we really do, to be honest with you. And it really allows us to be realistic at the start with what expectations are, but then also really scale afterwards as well. So yeah, that's the short answer to that. So we meet them, make sure that, you know, they've got the capital to actually invest in the first place. So a lot of our clients have around about 100k they want to invest with minimum. Some people have 60, 70k. That's not an issue at all. We can work around that. There's ways that we can also help with those clients. but typically we've got people who have got 100k sat there or more who want to invest with us or invest through us in theory, and have us build their portfolio for them. Not really a fan of flips, but we do flips on the side as well. Obviously flips where you buy, do some work and then sell it on the back end. You don't have to do any work, but you sell it on the back end for a profit. So yeah, that's basically the sourcing business in that sense. It's full end to end, it's fully bespoke. So the reason that we're creating a 5-year plan is it's bespoke to that client. It finds out where they are now financially, family, job, everything. It finds their circumstances now, and then it says, okay, where do you want to be in 5 years or 10 years? Is that realistic and achievable? If it's not, we're not a good fit for you anyway, for the said person anyway. But if it is, then we go out and kind of, do what they do. You basically make it realistic in that sense. So once we've created a realistic 5-year plan, then what we do is we get all the information together and then we go off and do the viewings. The reason we're doing all the viewings is in the current market, especially, this is April now, 2024. It's currently a seller's market where things are flying off the shelf, i.e. it's hard to secure things with discounted costs, prices. So it makes our job very, very difficult, but that's what we're paid to do. That's part of the service. So yeah, we're basically going out, finding these deals, presenting them to said clients. We're organising the solicitors for them. We've got our solicitors, mortgage brokers, builders, and staging companies that we can all connect them with, provide a full end-to-end service. So everything that they need, there's no actual need for any client to ever actually visit a property. That's how hands-off it is. Everything can be done via WhatsApp, through video updates, phone calls, communication, etc. It keeps it very, very easy and simple. So that's basically that's the way we provide that. Yeah, and it's basically doing a full end-to-end. There's literally everything can be fully leveraged so that we're doing the work in the background, but also communicating that as well. So what we do, got the criteria, we're finding a property, we present said property to said client that fits the criteria to a rough point of what they're looking for to fit their 5-year plan, and then we go ahead with that, and then yeah, we do the legals for them, we sort the solicitors out, we sort the lending out if needed, if they're using bridging, for example, and then we're also organising a builder, so we're organising all that as well. So when I'm going out and building, when I'm going out and doing these viewings, I'm typically either viewing a new property or organising an ongoing deal for someone, or making sure the refurbs are on time, so that when you actually organising a refurb, you want to make sure that it fits in with the end of the purchase, so that when you actually complete on the purchase, you want to make sure the refurb is smack down and going ahead straight away, because you don't want any lag period, you don't want any gap, so to speak, time wise. Yeah, and then go from there. So organising a refurb team, making sure that's all on time, on check, that's what we do as well. And then also just getting the refunds on the back end, so we organise the lending for the back end to refinance the client's funds. Because at the end of the day, the whole point of investing into property is to refinance on the back end, and then literally just recycle your funds and go ahead and go again. So obviously that was a bit of a ramble in terms of over-explaining, but the short answer is, when we've got someone's plan, we're making sure that everything fits into that plan. So in theory, every property purchase should take 6 months between purchase, renovate and refinance on the back end. So it should be quite a quick process, so that but we're making sure things are proactively done and making sure mistakes are minimized, to make sure that the client can actually refinance to the back end and then get the money back and go again. That's the main goal here. So we're doing that in the background. That's the property investment company. Again, we're doing everything for them. So the whole idea is, when people come to us, they have funds in the bank, they don't have any property knowledge or very little property knowledge, but they want to get into property. It's finding out at the very start if they can, if their goals are realistic, if it's achievable, but on the back end, for us to do the work, and then make sure they don't have to go out and spend the next 3 years learning about property. We're here to hold hands, instruct, and we do find the first property's got the most friction, because people come up to us without any property knowledge, for example. So they're a bit nervous, a bit anxious about the whole thing. And one of my most proud things is, after the first property purchase, after the first of many, so after 6 months, for example, they are a lot more comfortable in what they're doing. because we've set up their limited company if they need one. We've kind of held their hand through every stage of the process, so that when they come to the second one, the company's already set up if they need one. They've got, they've got confidence in the lending if they've used lending for it, which we've organised. They've got confidence in the solicitors for a fast purchase. The refurb team is huge, so they've got confidence in all those elements, and it really it helps us in the second one make things a lot quicker, because then there's less friction naturally, because there's more trust there. There's less anxiousness. If things have gone wrong, especially in the first purchase, but things can always go wrong in property, 100%. Something goes wrong in every single project. That's just natural in property, and that's a promise. But it's all about dealing with it correctly, not burying your head in the sand, not kind of shying away from it. This is literally what we're here for. If things go wrong, to really be like, okay, how can we resolve this quickly, find a good solution to it, if there is a solution, and then go from there and provide that. So it's like my mentality is I always want to provide a solution alongside a problem. So if we identify a problem, I want to be able to provide a solution alongside it. So it's like, hey, here's a problem, and then before the whole panic kicks in, it's here's a solution to solve that. Boom, sorted, happy days. That's a real win-win there. So not win-win, but that allows them to have comfort and trust in terms of we've got their back. Short answer. So yeah, that's that, and that makes me pretty damn proud to want to do whenever we do that. So which is 9 times out of 10 anyway. So yeah, that's the sourcing business that we want to scale up, and it's really not just a case of finding one property for a client. It's really building their wealth over the next 5 years, which feeds me into company number 2. So company number 2 is my own property investment company for my portfolio. I've got my business partner as well, but he's keep it simple for the video for now. So basically, because I always got into property to build a portfolio, as anyone does. You want to build a portfolio, create the wealth, create the long-term vision. But the more that I've got in, the more that I've been involved in all this, the more I've realised property is a people game, people system, let's say. It's all about people and connecting with them. And the more that I've had the sourcing company, property investment company, sourcing company for clients, the more I've realised that it really is in the best interest of in my selfish point of view of myself, to work with a lot of people to build their wealth, for them to benefit working with us in future. That's my real goal here. But not real goal in the short term, more in the 3 to 5, 10 year long term. That's my real thing. So if I could build the trust in the first couple of years, then to me it's a no-brainer, because what I do find is almost, I'd say 8 out of 10 clients after the first project, when they get a buy to let, and it's gone smoothly, or as smoothly as possible, we've ironed out all the details, etc. After the property, after the first purchase, they're almost wanting to go something bigger. Almost always, because they're like, well, okay, we've got the cash flow in there, you've done this, you've done that, it's gone great, or hasn't gone great, but you rectified this, blah 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 blah. We want to go big on the next one, and then it's almost up to me to say either slow down, or like go for a buy to let again, or okay, sure, let's go for it. I personally find the more experienced people we work with, I tend to jump them quicker on the bigger projects that we work with, i.e. our own portfolio stuff, which I'll get to shortly. But yeah, but then the newer people, I do tend to say, right, do at least 2 or 3 buy to lets, build your foundational portfolio, because you want to build your low risk portfolio first, and then build on to the social housing. Social housing is low risk as well, but maybe the HMOs and SAs, you want to do those afterwards, because they're high risk, high reward. They can be so lucrative, so cash flowing, but they are high risk at the end of the day. They're not high risk, higher risk than buy to let, let's say. So you want to be careful, and you need to know what you're doing with those. And if you've got your foundational buy to lets in place, then you're at least safeguarding yourself and protecting yourself in the long run. So that's my opinion on that. So with my own portfolio stuff, what we're doing is we've kind of skipped about 3 years ahead, which was a good accident, the way that we've done it. And I'll give you a bit of context on that. So I started the portfolio company looking for just single buy to lets for ourselves, the same that we're finding for clients. I wanted to find for ourselves, where we just go in single buy to lets, refurbishment projects, recycle the cash, raise funds for those, rinse and repeat. 6 months later, after we kind of created the company, we've gone into legals with 1 commercial conversion, 1 commercial to HMO conversion, and we're looking at a chapel at the moment to convert it to 9 flats. And we've also got a few other bits we're looking at as well. I had a really good guy that I'm talking to at the moment who's offering who's showing me some buy-to-lets as well. So all those come in hand in hand. But yeah, like it's gone from looking at single buy-to-lets to now we've kind of looked at these bigger projects, and it's a great learning curve. It's a huge learning curve in terms of planning, in terms of lease options, in terms of all these more creative, advanced ways of doing things, which we've obviously learned over time anyway, and are still learning on. You know, everyone's always learning every day on these things. But yeah, it's so interesting how we've kind of skipped ahead too much, in a good way though, because at the end of the day, things are going really well with these projects, i.e. setting everything out, but there's a lot more complications to them. So we're learning as we go, but it is a case of we wanted to start with the buy-to-lets ourselves and then scale up and then go on the commercial conversions and HMO conversions and all these more advanced things. I don't want to complicate this video too much, even though I ramble a lot, as you can tell, but it's just to explain how we've kind of skipped ahead by accident, because these opportunities presented to us, we raised the angel and JV finance for these, and now it's kind of really coming off really well. So, and those projects all going ahead. We've raised hundreds of thousands of pounds for these projects, and yeah, that's really boded us well, and we're going to continue to do that. You know, we're always looking for people to raise finance with. If people have got money sat in the bank, they don't want the risk of property, but they want to have a return on their investment. Literally, we offer those sort of things for them as well. So yeah, let us know if you want to get involved with those, but keep that comment aside for now, because in reality, like it's so interesting. It's like we're doing those bigger projects, but we want to kind of, yeah, we want to almost now focus on the buy-to-lets is what I'm trying to get at, without rambling too much. We want to literally go from those bigger projects. We want to step back down now, get a few, probably like 5 or 6 buy-to-lets. Again, keeping the risk low, because that's what I recommend for clients. Keep the risk low at the start, keep it nice and easy. Some social housing things, or supported living, whichever is available for said properties. But yeah, just diversify the portfolio a bit and not just have high risk properties in it. But the real reason for kind of mentioning this company is that's what we're trying to do. But at the end of the day, the main goal is to build that company, so that, you know, I've got the portfolio that's fully leveraged and a diverse portfolio as well. So it's not just whole these bigger things, these big SAs, because the commercial conversion, we're changing it from a commercial unit and a flat to a house and 2 flats, and we've got planning already approved on there, and it's all going ahead anyway. So that's great, but it does mean that's going to be worth nearly £1 million once renovated, and it's like a 165k refurb on it. So that's a big project. That's a lot of money going into it, and we just want to make sure that we don't put all our eggs in one basket. Is the super short answer to all this. So yeah, that's the over explained way of saying all this. But yeah, basically long-term vision is use the sourcing funds and finances from the investors to really fund, you know, the portfolio in that sense. So really, the way that I'm spending my time, to really go back to the point of this video, without continuing rambling so much, is to say I spend a lot of my time doing viewings of continued projects for clients, organising the refurbs, organising those bits and bobs, but also raising the finance for the other projects where we've got so much credibility coming in now, where we've got, you know, all these buy-to-let clients coming in, we've got social housing clients, SA clients, great. I've got a long-term vision with those, you know, because I have such great clients, lovely people. We onboarded a lovely couple last week. It's, you know, I'm really proud of the sort of client base that we've got, because they're really nice people. Like, we don't onboard horrible people, because then they're horrible to work with, obviously, and we can build long-term things with them and help them build their wealth. That's a proper win-win. So that's what I love about it. And then we can just, over time, like almost sway them into the bigger projects, which they're still building their wealth. Because if we do a JV project with a client in 2-3 years, then instead of going from a single net 250, what they've done is they've built, like, I say 250, like £250 per month net. They can build an entire buy-to-let portfolio of 5, 6, 7 properties, all low risk, and then we jump on one of our projects. They leverage us to say, okay, use your knowledge, experience to do a bigger project like a HMO or you know, a commercial conversion or something bigger, where there's a lot more money put into it, but a lot higher risk, but then you leverage on our experience to do that as well, and they get a cut of the pie, and we do all the work. So in theory, it's a fully hands-off JV investment in that sense. So, and obviously that's how those things are organised. So that's how we feed those into it. But that's after a few years when they've built the trust, credibility with the said client anyway. So that's what I spend my time doing. Connecting with people, raising the finance. Not raising the finance. Raising finance is kind of 20% of my effort for our own portfolio. My real time is spent building clients' portfolios. And to clarify, I make every single one fully aware that my long-term goal is to work with you on our projects. Like, I could work with someone for the next 5 years, but after year 3, I'm saying, okay, we've built your portfolio to this point now. Do you want to continue doing this, or do you want to jump onto these more lucrative things where you're going to be making, you know, a grand net per month without having to do anything, you know, 4 times the profit, but it's higher risk and it takes a lot more time to complete. For example, a buy-to-let could take 6 months, whereas these hours take 9 to 12 months. So it could be double the length of time, but after 12 months, then the amount of profit you're making is crazy. So it's kind of those sort of things where they all come hand in hand. So that's my thinking with it. So connect with people and then build up a portfolio alongside it. So I'm spending my time doing the viewings, organising solicitors for all these projects we've got going on with clients, and really just accumulating. And I don't know how messy this video is, because I have gone on a complete ramble, a complete tangent with this whole thing. There was no set criteria of all this. It's very, very messy, but I hope I've got through. I hope it's understood, like what I'm trying to achieve and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and also what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, because a lot of my stuff is socials to connect with investors, to really build our profile in that sense, because we're really building a strong profile already. We just want it 4 or 5 times that, hence the YouTube, of course. So if anyone's still watching this video, if you want to subscribe to us, definitely subscribe, because literally we're going to document everything we're doing. So all of our projects, we're going to document them. We completed on a couple of projects this week. We also got 2 into legals last week for clients, for bespoke clients as well. So they'll go into legals, and they're going to be turnkeys. There's not much to document with them, but you know, turnkeys meaning like small refurbs. Also, I like to do informative videos. So if you're looking for a bit of property knowledge alongside what you're doing, alongside just kind of having curiosity about property, I'll be doing those, because it's not just here's property, it's why do we do this, why do we do that. So for example, if you go into a 3-bed property with an attic room, is that classed as a 4-bed? No, it's classed as a 3-bed with an attic room. So that because attic rooms are not classed as bedrooms, they increase the value slightly, but not fully. So those sort of things we're going to include in the videos, so it's information, informative, etc. Yeah, hope this answers the short answer as to what I'm doing, because I'm not too sure if it does, but just thought I'd go on a tangent about it. But subscribe to us, follow us. I do a YouTube video every single week, in terms of either a project with someone else, or in terms of what we're doing, or one of our own projects, or just a general update in terms of what we're doing and who we connect with. Our power team, our builders, solicitors, brokers, I do a video with them once a week, like a different person each week in that sense. Instagram and Facebook, we're all over those, and LinkedIn, of course. And you can see the progression that we're going through, and you can see the sort of projects that we invest for ourselves, and the sort of things that we do for our clients. And obviously it's a lot more documented with the clients, because that's what I want to try and grow up, because I do want to help people build their stuff to make them comfortable before we do the other stuff with them. But this is just transparency in that sense, to say what we're looking to do. If you're looking to get involved in property, type yes in the comments. And when I say involved, it doesn't have to mean like you jump on a call and suddenly you're paying all this crazy money for stuff. Like, the way that we work is literally jump on a call with no pressure to it, to say, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Can I help you? Can I help you? And it's like, if I can help you, great. If I can't, then I'll let you know. And it's like, but there's also a case of, if I can help you, don't have to take the help. Like, I had a client call with someone yesterday, in the car. I was driving along, and had a call with them, obviously hands free, and yeah, literally he got about 40k in the bank. He didn't want to do rent to rent, so I offered him doing a turnkey. and like a turnkey buy to let, because obviously you didn't have the cap, because you need about 60k, 60 grand to invest in a BR, buy refurbished refinance property minimum really, and you didn't have the capital there. So I said either you can do this now, or in a year or two's time you can save up to get 60k, and then we can have another conversation and go from there. So really it's almost like advice but not official advice. It's like how I'd, in my opinion, this is what how I'd see it. Because obviously a lot of the people we talk to are working professionals. A lot of people who we talk to are working professionals who don't have the time or knowledge or knowledge of property. They don't have the knowledge of what to do, how to do it, etc. And therefore, yeah, they just can, use our brain, so to speak. We're doing this every day, in day out. It's what we're here for. It's part of the service to help people, so that help them grow their stuff and also be comfortable in what they're doing. Like every single client that we ever talk to, we don't want them to feel pressured into stuff. It's more of a case of saying, like, this is like where you want to, this is where you are, where you want to get to. This is how we can get you there. This is how we do it. Give them all the information without overwhelming them. Give them all the information, and if after all the information they still want to proceed, then that's the ideal time to do it. If they're comfortable, understanding, because I had a client call last week and they were unsure about bits and bobs. We went through, okay, here's the lending, here's this, here's that, and now they're more comfortable, they understand what's going on. It helps me to help them, because when I'm presenting them information, they can understand it better, so that when we're actually during the buying process, there's no confusion there, or there's very little confusion. So it's kind of like, or we can outline those other bits and bobs as well, because the less confused, the better. Because then otherwise it's like there's no panic, there's no anxiety. It's kind of just letting us help them properly, and then going from there. So I hope this video helped you. Just thought I'd go on an absolute tangent about how we kind of help people. And yeah, subscribe to us, give us a follow, give us a like, look at our socials. I'll put it in our bio and everything. We're on under LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything. But definitely, yeah, keep tabs on the journey, and speak to you guys soon.